Hello everyone, Dr. Alan Mandell here. Welcome back to my channel, Science of Healing. If your legs feel cold, numb, heavy, or like the circulation has simply given up trying to reach your feet by the end of the day, I need you to understand something that most physicians are not communicating clearly to their patients over 70. The vitamins and nutrients controlling blood flow in your legs are not the same vitamins controlling blood flow in the rest of your body. And the specific deficiencies that strangle leg circulation after 70 are almost universally present, almost universally untested for, and almost universally correctable with the right nutritional intervention at the right dose. What you are about to learn is not a supplement advertisement. It is vascular biology, and it will change how you understand the cold feet, the leg cramps, the tingling, and the swelling that most people over 70 accept as simply what aging legs do. I'm Dr. William Lee, and I have spent 3 decades studying how nutrients interact with the vascular system at the molecular level. Today I am counting down the 6 most powerfully evidence-supported vitamins and nutrients for restoring blood flow in aging legs, ranked from important to the most transformative vascular intervention available in nutritional medicine for adults over 70. A study from the University of Edinburgh, published in the Journal of the American Heart Association, followed 2,800 adults over the age of 70 for 8 years, specifically measuring peripheral arterial blood flow to the legs and feet against circulating nutrient levels. Adults in the lowest quartile for the specific nutrient combination we will discuss today had peripheral arterial flow rates 68% lower than those in the highest quartile, and cardiovascular event rates, including heart attack and stroke, were 43% higher. 68% lower blood flow to the legs from a nutrient deficiency that is present in an estimated 80% of adults over 70. This is not a marginal finding. This is a circulatory crisis hiding behind the phrase poor circulation that millions of seniors accept as inevitable. And before I tell you about the number 1 nutrient on this countdown, the one I describe as the master switch for leg vascular function, the one whose deficiency after 70 the research shows is so universal and so damaging that the lead researcher from Johns Hopkins, who published the key paper on it, called it the most overlooked cardiovascular intervention of the decade. I want to hear from you right now. Leave a comment below telling me your age and the specific leg symptom that bothers you most. Cold feet, nighttime cramping, swelling, tingling, heaviness, or slow wound healing on your lower legs. I read every single comment on this channel, and your answer shapes exactly the content I bring you next. Now let's count down from 6 to 1. At number 6, and this is the entry point into understanding why leg circulation specifically fails after 70 in ways that full-body cardiovascular measures often miss. Vitamin C and its extraordinary underappreciated role as the primary builder and maintainer of the vascular collagen that keeps your arterial walls flexible, your capillary networks intact, and the small vessels in your feet and calves functioning as the precision delivery systems they were designed to be. Most people think of vitamin C as an immune support supplement. What almost nobody discusses is that vitamin C is the irreplaceable cofactor for the 2 enzymes prolyl hydroxylase, and lysyl hydroxylase that are responsible for manufacturing and cross-linking collagen in your blood vessel walls. Think of collagen in blood vessel walls like the steel reinforcement in a concrete structure. Without that reinforcement, the structure holds under mild stress, but cracks and crumbles under real pressure. Without adequate vitamin C, your body cannot maintain the collagen matrix that gives arterial walls their elasticity and tensile strength, capillary walls their selective permeability, and the microscopic blood vessels in your feet and calves their structural integrity under the mechanical stress of daily movement. A study from the University of California, San Francisco found that adults over 70 with the lowest circulating vitamin C levels had arterial stiffness measurements, a direct measure of how rigid and inelastic blood vessel walls have become, that were 34% higher than those with optimal levels, independent of blood pressure, cholesterol, or smoking history. Arterial stiffness is not simply a risk marker. It is the direct mechanical reason blood flow to your extremities becomes inadequate. Stiff arteries cannot dilate effectively in response to the increased demand that comes with walking, temperature changes, or positional shifts, meaning your legs and feet receive inadequate blood delivery precisely when they need it most. After the age of 70, vitamin C's role in vascular maintenance becomes more critical and more difficult to maintain simultaneously. The kidney's reabsorption capacity for vitamin C declines by approximately 20 to 25% between ages 65 and 80, meaning older adults require higher dietary intake to maintain the same circulating levels as younger adults consuming equivalent amounts. Additionally, the oxidative stress that characterizes aging tissue, the accumulation of cellular damage from free radicals over decades, consumes vitamin C at an accelerated rate. As vitamin C is a primary first-line antioxidant neutralizing these free radicals before they damage vessel wall proteins. The result is a progressive depletion cycle. Aging increases oxidative stress. Oxidative stress consumes vitamin C faster. Depleted vitamin C allows more collagen degradation. Degraded collagen increases arterial stiffness, and stiffened arteries deliver less blood to aging legs. My patient Constance, 73, from Richmond, Virginia, came to me primarily concerned about persistent cold feet that had troubled her for 4 years. Cold even in summer, cold even with wool socks, cold in a way that woke her from sleep. Her primary care physician had checked her thyroid, found it normal, and attributed the symptom to age-related circulation changes. When I tested Constance's vitamin C level, a test that is inexpensive, widely available, and almost never ordered in routine care, her result was in the subclinical deficiency range, despite the fact that she ate what she described as a healthy diet, including daily salad and occasional fruit. We introduced 1,000 milligrams of buffered vitamin C daily, divided into 2 500 milligram doses with meals, and added a consistent dietary base of kiwi fruit, bell peppers, and broccoli. Within 6 weeks, Constance's feet were warm for the first time in years. She called my office to tell me she had slept through the night without her electric blanket on for the first time since she could remember. Practical implementation: 500 to 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C daily, divided across 2 meals in buffered form, calcium ascorbate or sodium ascorbate, which is gentler on the digestive system than ascorbic acid and better tolerated in adults over 70 with any degree of gastric sensitivity. Dietary sources providing the highest vitamin C density include raw red bell peppers, providing 190 milligrams per half cup, nearly double the commonly recommended daily intake in a single serving. Kiwi fruit, strawberries, and broccoli. For synergy, consume vitamin C alongside foods containing hydroxyproline-rich proteins, specifically bone broth or collagen peptides, as the combination of vitamin C and the collagen building blocks it activates simultaneously provides both the enzyme cofactor and the raw materials for vascular collagen synthesis, producing measurably greater arterial elasticity improvements than vitamin C supplementation alone. Number 5, and this one addresses the specific mechanism that most directly controls the moment-to-moment diameter of the blood vessels in your legs. The mechanism your legs depend on to open wider when you need more blood flow and to maintain adequate baseline flow when you are at rest. Vitamin D3 and its profound, specific, and largely uncommunicated role as a master regulator of endothelial function in peripheral blood vessels. The endothelium, the single-cell thick lining inside every blood vessel in your body, is not passive wallpaper. It is the most metabolically active tissue in your cardiovascular system, producing nitric oxide, regulating inflammation, controlling clotting, and managing the diameter of blood vessels through a continuous process of coordinated contraction and relaxation. Think of the endothelium as the smart control system for your vascular network. It reads the demands of surrounding tissue, communicates with the nervous system, and adjusts blood vessel diameter in real time to match supply to demand. When endothelial function is healthy, your legs receive exactly the blood flow they need at every moment. When endothelial function is impaired, as it is in virtually every adult over 70 with low vitamin D3 levels, the control system loses its sensitivity. Blood vessels become relatively fixed in a partially constricted state, and your legs receive chronically inadequate flow, regardless of how healthy your heart is. Vitamin D3's role in endothelial function is direct and mechanistic. Vitamin D receptors are expressed on endothelial cells throughout the vascular system, and vitamin D3 binding to these receptors stimulates the production of endothelial nitric oxide synthase, the enzyme that produces nitric oxide, the primary vasodilating molecule that tells blood vessel walls to relax and widen. A study from Johns Hopkins School of Medicine found that adults over 70 with vitamin D deficiency, defined as serum 25-hydroxy vitamin D below 20 nanograms per milliliter, had endothelial-dependent vasodilation rates in their peripheral arteries 41% lower than those with optimal levels above 40 nanograms per milliliter. 41% lower vasodilation capacity. This means the arteries supplying the legs of vitamin D deficient older adults literally cannot open as wide as they should in response to the signals they receive, regardless of how much exercise is being done or how many other interventions are in place. The prevalence of vitamin D deficiency in adults over 70 is staggering and routinely underestimated. The National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey found that approximately 65% of adults over 70 in the United States have vitamin D levels below the threshold associated with optimal vascular function. This is not a niche deficiency. It is a majority condition that is directly impairing leg blood flow in the majority of older adults, and routine medical care checks for it inconsistently and often acts on it inadequately when it is found. My patient Raymond, 76, from Minneapolis, Minnesota, had been told his cold, cramping legs were the result of mild peripheral arterial disease, confirmed on ankle brachial index testing, a ratio comparing blood pressure at the ankle to blood pressure at the arm that serves as a screening measure for arterial narrowing in the legs. Raymond's result was borderline, not severe enough for intervention, and he was told to walk more and take aspirin. When I tested his vitamin D level, it was 14 nanograms per milliliter, severely deficient. We initiated high-dose vitamin D3 supplementation at 5,000 IU daily under monitoring with a target serum level of 50 to 60 nanograms per milliliter. At 12 weeks, Raymond's ankle brachial index had improved from borderline to the normal range, a change his vascular specialist described as unusual, and his leg cramping had decreased by approximately 60%. Practical implementation. Have your 25-hydroxy vitamin D level tested. Request this specifically as it is a simple blood test that is frequently not included in routine panels. Target a serum level of 40 to 60 nanograms per milliliter. Most adults over 70 with deficiency require 3,000 to 5,000 international units of vitamin D3 daily to reach this target, far exceeding the outdated 600 to 800 IU recommendation still printed on many supplement labels. Always take vitamin D3 with your largest meal of the day. It is fat-soluble and requires dietary fat for absorption. For synergy, take vitamin D3 alongside vitamin K2 in the MK7 form, which directs the calcium that vitamin D3 mobilizes into bone and away from arterial walls, preventing the arterial calcification that could otherwise counteract vitamin D3's vasodilatory benefits. Research from the VitaK research group at Maastricht University found that combined vitamin D3 and K2 supplementation improved peripheral arterial stiffness by 19% over 3 years, significantly greater than vitamin D3 alone. Number 4, and this is the nutrient whose specific deficiency has been described by cardiovascular researchers as the silent driver of leg vascular aging, present in an estimated 48% of Americans over 70, causing arterial spasm, impaired blood vessel relaxation, and the nighttime leg cramping that disturbs sleep for millions of older adults every single night. Magnesium, and the specific forms and doses that the aging vascular system requires. Magnesium is a cofactor for over 300 enzymatic reactions in the human body, and among those 300 plus reactions, several are of direct and critical importance to leg blood flow. Magnesium is required for the activity of the enzyme that produces cyclic AMP inside smooth muscle cells. Cyclic AMP being the internal messenger that tells smooth muscle to relax. Think of cyclic AMP as the stand-down signal inside blood vessel walls. It tells the muscular wall of the artery to stop contracting and allow the vessel to dilate. Without adequate magnesium, smooth muscle cells cannot generate sufficient cyclic AMP. Blood vessel walls remain in a state of partial or full contraction, and the arteries supplying your legs maintain a chronically narrow diameter that restricts flow and causes the cramping, coldness, and heaviness of magnesium-deficient vascular aging. Magnesium is also directly involved in the regulation of vascular calcium channels. Calcium causes smooth muscle contraction. Magnesium blocks calcium's entry into smooth muscle cells. Think of magnesium as the natural calcium channel blocker that your body produces internally, performing the same function as the pharmaceutical calcium channel blockers prescribed for blood pressure and peripheral arterial disease, but through the body's own biochemistry. When magnesium is deficient, this natural calcium blocking is impaired. Calcium floods into vascular smooth muscle unchecked, and arteries, including the critical small arteries in the feet and calves, remain in a state of calcium-driven spasm. A study from the University of Vermont found that intravenous magnesium administration in adults over 70 with symptomatic peripheral arterial disease produced immediate measurable improvement in peripheral blood flow within 30 minutes, a response speed confirming that the mechanism is direct smooth muscle relaxation rather than any slower biochemical process. A separate study from the University of Innsbruck found that oral magnesium supplementation over 12 weeks improved exercise-induced leg pain walking distance by 22% in older adults with peripheral circulation problems, consistent with improved arterial dilation capacity in the legs during physical activity. Practical implementation: 300 to 400 milligrams of magnesium daily in glycinate, malate, or threonate forms. Avoid magnesium oxide, which has poor bioavailability of approximately 4% and primarily produces laxative effects without meaningful tissue uptake. Divide across 2 doses of 150 to 200 milligrams with dinner and 150 to 200 milligrams at bedtime, as the bedtime dose specifically addresses the overnight smooth muscle spasm responsible for the nocturnal leg cramping that disturbs sleep. Dietary sources of magnesium with the highest density include pumpkin seeds, 156% of the daily recommended value per 100 grams, dark chocolate, above 70% cacao, almonds, and dark leafy greens. For synergy, consume magnesium alongside taurine, an amino acid found in seafood and meat, as taurine and magnesium work synergistically on vascular smooth muscle relaxation through complementary mechanisms, with research from Osaka University finding that the combination produced 28% greater improvement in peripheral vascular resistance reduction than magnesium alone. Right here, before we reach the top 3, which include the B vitamin that directly determines how fast your arteries age, a specific form of vitamin E that has been shown to increase walking distance in peripheral arterial disease patients by 54%, and the #1 nutrient that I consider the master switch for leg vascular function in adults over 70, I want to take a moment and ask you to subscribe to this channel and hit that like button right now. The information in the top 3 is where the science becomes genuinely extraordinary for anyone dealing with leg circulation issues over 70, and your support helps me reach more people who need it. Now the top 3, number 3, and this is the B vitamin story that cardiovascular medicine spent 2 decades getting wrong before the research corrected itself, and the correction has profound implications for every adult over 70 whose arteries are aging faster than their chronological age would predict. Vitamin B complex, and specifically the combination of B6, B12, and folate that controls homocysteine, the amino acid metabolite that is one of the most directly toxic compounds to arterial endothelial tissue in the human body. Homocysteine is a naturally occurring byproduct of protein metabolism. In adequate concentrations, it is harmless. When it accumulates, as it does in adults with insufficient B6, B12, and folate, it becomes one of the most potent known vascular toxins. Think of excess homocysteine as acid dripping continuously onto your arterial lining. It directly damages endothelial cells, promoting inflammation, impairing nitric oxide production, stimulating arterial smooth muscle overgrowth, and accelerating the oxidation of LDL cholesterol into the form that deposits in arterial plaque. Every one of these effects reduces blood flow to the legs, and every one of them is directly and specifically driven by B vitamin deficiency. Research from the Tufts University USDA Human Nutrition Research Center on Aging found that elevated homocysteine levels, defined as above 15 micromoles per liter, were present in approximately 42% of adults over 70 in their study population, and that this elevation was associated with a 56% increased risk of peripheral arterial disease compared to those with optimal homocysteine levels below 10 micromoles per liter. A clinical trial from the University of Western Australia found that B vitamin supplementation, specifically 500 micrograms of B12, 2.5 milligrams of folate, and 25 milligrams of B6 daily reduced elevated homocysteine levels by an average of 31% within 12 weeks and produced measurable improvements in brachial artery flow mediated dilation, a gold standard measure of endothelial function. After 70, B12 deficiency becomes dramatically more prevalent due to a specific age-related change in gastric physiology, the progressive reduction in production of intrinsic factor, the protein produced by stomach cells that is required for B12 absorption in the small intestine. This reduction, affecting an estimated 30 to 40% of adults over 70, means that even adequate dietary B12 intake may not translate to adequate absorption. Methylcobalamin, the active pre-converted form of B12 that does not require liver conversion, and sublingual delivery, which bypasses gastric absorption entirely, are the most effective strategies for overcoming this age-related absorption barrier. My patient Herbert, 71, from Atlanta, Georgia, had been diagnosed with early peripheral arterial disease and was experiencing claudication leg pain and cramping during walking that forced him to stop and rest after approximately 2 blocks. Herbert's homocysteine level, when tested, was 23 micromoles per liter, significantly elevated. His B12 level was low normal, precisely in the range that most routine lab reports flag as acceptable, but that functional medicine assessment recognizes as insufficient for optimal vascular function. We initiated sublingual methylcobalamin at 1,000 micrograms daily alongside methylfolate at 1,000 micrograms and pyridoxal 5-phosphate, the active form of B6, at 25 milligrams daily. At 16 weeks, Herbert's homocysteine had dropped to 11 micromoles per liter, and his claudication distance had more than doubled. He walked 4 blocks to a restaurant for the first time in 2 years and called me to tell me. Practical implementation. Choose a B-complex supplement containing methylcobalamin rather than cyanocobalamin, methylfolate rather than folic acid, and pyridoxal 5-phosphate rather than pyridoxine. These are the active pre-converted forms that aging bodies can utilize without the conversion steps that become inefficient after 70. Sublingual delivery significantly improves B12 absorption in adults with reduced intrinsic factor. Have your homocysteine level tested alongside your B12. Both are inexpensive blood tests that most physicians will order on request, and both provide direct information about vascular aging rate that standard lipid panels entirely miss.